What's going on, y'all? It's Chemistry 11 here. I like I like the way you get messages in television, movies. I mentioned in a couple of videos ago about watching movies or television objectively because just like Jackie Chan said in The Karate Kid, everything is kung fu. And so I apply that to whatever I watch. There's always a message. The director, the creator, writers, producers, they're getting some ideal out there, whether it be political, social, spiritual, whatever. And so one of my favorite shows is The Walking Dead. I grew up on zombies and all that, all the George Romero films. I love it. But The Walking Dead, after watching that the the season finale, I started looking at the two different groups. The Woodbury group and the prison group. I'll just say Woodbury and prison group. All right. It it was an example of two societies, and which one was better prepared and just better off in the end. So let's break down Rick's group. All right. Some of them knew each other. The rest were strangers, and they came together for one common purpose. All right, which was survival. They all had individual skills. The characters, Andrea and her sister Amy, they knew how to fish. Dale, he had the tools and the canoe, and he was mechanically inclined. You had Glenn, who knew how to scavenge and move around real fast, and Shane and Rick, they were kind of like the leaders or whatnot, and had the gun knowledge, and everybody just played their part. All right, and then you had the other group that's with that is season 2 with the farm. They knew agriculture, knew how to cultivate land and take care of cattle, and they all had to fight. And when they had problems internally, like when Shane was going crazy or whatnot, and any kind of internal problem, they took care of it themselves because they had no one else but them, and they could really trust no one else. And they had their issues back and forth, yes, and it was a real democracy. Now, I know at the end of season 2, Rick said it's not a democracy anymore. He started kind of switching, going over to the dark side, started doing real underhanded stuff, up until the point where he was about to give over Michonne and had Merle to do it. But he changed his mind. And this group, without any outside help, became completely self-sufficient. Everything they did, all their survival was all them. Okay? So let's go to Woodbury. You had this one guy, this governor, all right, who had this town, and he had his goons around him, the only one with the guns, all right. He was always a smooth talker, always just seeming like this big savior type. Nobody questioned anything because everyone else just wanted to live their little docile lives, didn't want to be involved in anything, and that's just like our society now. Not too many people, everybody's just waiting on some leader to fix it all just so they could say, oh, well, I want to go watch TV. He even gave them a little entertainment with the living dead. They staged these fights, give them some entertainment, just like now. Football games, baseball, NCAA, whatever. And the people were willfully ignorant of what was going on. He was out there killing soldiers. Anybody who tried to leave, he hunted them down. He had his own little daughter up in there, living dead, didn't kill her, feeding her dead body parts from people who he'd killed, and all the things that he did. Slept with just about every woman around there. Had a list of them. I mean, he was just he was a devil, and the goons were right along with him because they enjoyed the power. They enjoyed the fact that all these people, they didn't want to be like the prison group. No. They just wanted somebody else to do it for them so they can just enjoy whatever. And on the surface, it looked like a peaceful place, but it sucked. And now you have Rick's group. They living from they went from that little campsite in Atlanta, went to the farm, and then they got to the prison. And in that season finale, what did you see in the end? A handful of people, even an old man with one leg, okay, and a little boy, about 11, 12 years old, what's his name, Carl, they ran off the whole town because when it was time to finally get down, them people ran at the first sight of gunshots. Okay? And the governor bragged about it. Oh, we got the numbers. Yeah, but they're not tested. They don't know anything. You know, at the end, he just started grabbing everybody. Anybody who was able-bodied, just give them a gun. We're going to attack. The people weren't prepared. They were too ignorant, too docile. They were sheep. And he treated them like such. So, I look at our society now, and that's basically how it is. The majority of our society is just like that, like the Woodbury group, okay? We're living in Woodbury. Everybody is still just putting their faith in these people when they continue to fail, okay? Continue to do things that's unbecoming of someone who's fit to lead, and yet we continue to trust that. No matter how many people come back bloody, no matter what kind of actions get taken, happens overseas, you know, the taxes, all this stuff. And yet people just like, oh, well, you know, I guess it'll just be all right. You know, I don't want to, you know, I leave that to them. Oh, it's their fault. I voted for them, and, you know, oh, I did my part because I voted. But as you see, things are getting more like the society with the prison group, to where people have to start reeling things in, becoming more self-sufficient. And then you have those out there who are like the prison group with Rick now, okay? They all have skills, they know how to come together, they know how to do things for themselves, and really don't need the help from outside. You know, the people in Woodbury, they needed somebody else to protect them because they had the guns. And what did they do? They made sure that the rest of them didn't have the guns. The one who had all the guns, they had all the power. So nobody was in a position to even question anything the governor was doing. Sound familiar? And then you have the people in Rick's group. Well, everybody picks up a weapon, even the little kids. All right? Because eventually they're going to have to grow up and learn how to use it. And they didn't have any governor or anybody leading over them like that, like some dictator, putting himself off as a savior. So I apply that to now. You see what's happening. You see things going down the drain. You see things changing. As the years have progressed, things have escalated for the worse. It'll get a little bit better, but then it starts to drop off. You know, you hear the senior citizens talking about the Social Security being cut. You know, the gun rights people, all the guns being taken away. All the moral fabrics and everything are being ripped down. Everything is being flipped on side its head because a new age, a new kind of world is emerging, and it's going to have its time. And not everybody's going to be willing to live in it. Not everybody's going to be willing to live side by side, even more than now. You've seen the escalation in violence. All these different changes are all happening, even with the very earth itself. So, my question to you, and I ask myself this in the mirror, you know, just when I'm thinking quietly, which one am I going to be? Which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the prison group, or are you going to be Woodbury? You and those around you. Your choice. Prison group, or Woodbury.